Well, today, the state of Louisiana suspended its primary election that was about to start on Saturday, just one day after the U.S. Supreme Court ruled on the Voting Rights Act.
So this ruling states that Louisiana's current congressional map is unconstitutional. They say lawmakers allowed race to play a part in their decision-making.
And we're going to talk about the potential impact we could see here in Illinois and Indiana. But first, we want to go to Marion Brooks. She's here to explain the significance of the Voting Rights Act. Marion.
It was really landmark legislation back in 1965. It grew out of the civil rights movement. But the fight for the right to vote goes back to the post-Reconstruction era right after the Civil War. Poll taxes, literacy tests, and even outright violence was used to stop African Americans from voting. In fact, in 1955, for example, two men in Mississippi, George Lee, the first man you saw there, and Lamar Smith, were killed for trying to register Black people to vote. And we still commemorate those people who marched from Selma to Montgomery, crossing the Edmund Pettus Bridge and being attacked by police, all for the right to vote. Now, that march and the subsequent violence in 1965 played out on folks' televisions. People were horrified. The response led to the Voting Rights Act of 1965, which was signed by Lyndon Johnson on August 6th. Now, the Voting Rights Act is widely viewed as very successful. The very same year it was enacted, in just a matter of months, you guys, it was enacted in August. By the end of the year, 250,000 African Americans had been registered to vote in states that had had restrictive measures. So it worked immediately. The Voting Rights Act was also extended or amended 5 times, signed by both Republican and Democratic presidents. It had bipartisan support. But the Supreme Court, in some of its decisions that started about 16 years ago, began to weaken the Voting Rights Act, specifically beginning kind of in 2013, Shelby County versus Holder. That ruling took down the pre-clearance provision. That portion of the law required certain states to clear any of their voting changes with the Department of Justice. Most of those states had previous histories of discrimination in voting. And that was kind of just the first one, and the one that happened today was another. So we've seen quite a few cases that have sort of stripped some of the power from the Voting Rights Act of 65.
Important to know the history and how far we've come and what happened now.
The context of how that all started and where it came from.